and welcome back to the channel. This week it's a mixture of jobs that I've got to do on the project. Last week, if you remember, I was cutting the mortises for the first cupboard, and so that went well. I've got this week the cutting of the mortises on the second set of uprights, but I've realised something, and on the plans that I've got, or that I've drawn up I should say, I've got these mortises to do, yes, but I also have other mortises I need to cut as well. For example, the rails, front and back, top and bottom, they will need a mortise in the middle because both cupboards are going to have an upright in the middle. So those 4 rails on each box will need a mortise. Then there are the mortises in the stiles on the 4 doors. 2 cupboards, 4 doors, of course it is. So those stiles will need mortises as well. Now that brings up the subject that my neighbour Tim raised, and I'm going to need to identify which pieces are which, and really do a lot more by way of marking up so I know which piece is going where. So that's the first job I'm going to do, is actually identify the pieces, and then I can actually cut those rails and stiles to length, to the actual finished length, because I will actually need to know what piece is which. So sort things out first, and then we can crack on with actually cutting the joints. Right, sorted through the stock, and I now know which pieces are going where. Those 2 piles there are the stiles for the doors, and that pile, 4 pieces, those are the long rails for cupboard 1, which is the left hand cupboard. Those are the long rails for the cupboard 2, which is the right hand one. So I'm just going to mark these up, and then I can work out where the mortises are going to go. So 980 is there. So what I've done, I've just made some small calculations about where on the rails the mortises need to go. Now I've worked from this left hand side, and from the end of the rail, which is at the end of the tenon, to the middle, it's 470 millimeters for this cupboard. The center upright is 50 wide, so the edge will be at 445, allowing for the tenon. So this left hand end of the markings for the tenons will be at 465 from the left hand end of the workpiece. 465 from the left hand end is there. So everything as to where these mortises will go will be along that line. Now, I really need to do this on the edge, don't I? Not the face. Now then. All of these are 46mm wide rails. Everything is 46mm. So from that point, I want 10mm for the shoulder, 26mm for the mortise, and 10mm for the shoulder. So that's that. Now, height. How can I mark one and then mark across? So just make sure all of these are square. They are. So, the mortises will go there. Right. Next thing is to mark from one side. So this will revolve around which is the face side, and where am I going to be measuring from? Right, if I think that's the top rear rail and I'm going to be putting the mortise here, then that is the piece that's going to be facing me, so I will make that the face side. Therefore that's the face edge. Now if I then make, because all of these are going to be identically cut, so it doesn't really matter which one goes where so long as I get the face side correct. So let me just mark off face edge. And if that the mortise is here, the mortise is here, they're going to face each other like that. and then those now. So I will make that face side, and the same thing with that. Those are going to face, therefore I'll make those face sides. Right, so I will be measuring from the face side where I'm going to be putting the edge of the mortise. Now all of these pieces are 19mm wide, therefore I'm sticking with the 6mm chisel, and so if I mark 6 from the edge on all of these, then 6, I could make it 6.5. It won't make much difference. It won't make much difference, but at least I can do that on this gauge. But those are the quarters. So 6. Six and a quarter, 6.5. Six, 6.5. That's that. Six, 6.5. And I don't know whether you can see that. This scale here has got the whole millimeters, and then there are 3 slightly offset holes here, and so those represent the quarter, half and 3/4 of a millimeter. So I've gone for that hole there, which is 6.5. So that's box 2 long rails done. I'll do the same for box 1 long rails, then I can start marking up the stiles for the 4 doors. Okay, those are the rails done for the cupboards. Now the stiles for the door. Now I've got 4 doors, 2 stiles per door, so we've got 8 pieces of timber altogether, and I thought I'll mark the length, yes, so I know where I'm putting things, but I also need to give some thought to face side now, because with this, it isn't reclaimed timber, but it's been in storage quite a long time, and so some of these pieces are a little weather worn. This bit's got some insect damage in it, so obviously I don't want that piece on the face, so I thought I'll just measure them all for the length, yes, measure or mark where which side is going to be face side, but pieces like this, a huge divot out of the knot, and what I can do is, because these are styles for a door, then they're not going to take a lot of weight. So what I can do is cut a piece out of there, and there's another piece somewhere as well. Anyway, I'll come to that. And I can slot a piece in there, glue it into place, and try to make some sort of feature out of it. Okay, so let me align all of these. Right, all 8 styles are 705mm long. There we go. So that's got that, and these I'm going to make the face sides. Right, and I will make everything that's face up now the face edge. So that's where I'm going to be doing the marking. That means that is going to be away from the edge where the door panel will be. That will actually be the hinge side, and the hinge will be up here somewhere, so that's not going to be a problem. Right, so let me just those are the face edges, and right, and now then, one thing I wanted to just make sure of on the plan that I've drawn, I know I've put a shaped edge on the top rail. That's my idea, but it might not happen. But anyway, it's still, like all of the other pieces, going to be nominally 50mm wide, which means I stick to the same sizing for the mortises. So it's 10 from the end, 26mm for the mortise, and 10mm there. Align everything. And there's the length mark. So let me just make sure those are still in alignment. Mark that across there. And repeat. 10mm shoulder, 26mm mortise, and 10mm shoulder. There we go. So and same as for the rails, it's 6.5mm from the face side. There we go. Just do all of these and then I can get styles 5 to 8 done. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I've double checked, I've marked all of the pieces that I need to do now. This is the second set of uprights for the carcasses. I've marked all of the stiles and the rails for the carcass and the doors, and I've just double checked that the depth gauge is where it should be, so I'm not going to be cutting too deeply because I've moved things around. I just wanted to double check where I'm cutting, and I'm glad I did just double check because I'd got this piece the wrong way round. So that's where it needs to be on here. Let me just double check the measurement from the edge. Yeah, that's right on the line. So let's start cutting, and I should be able to get all of these mortises done in this session. Well, that's the first of the second set of uprights, so they've gone very nicely. Let's keep it nice and clean so the chippings don't build up under the work, and let's do the other three. all of the uprights done. So I've just got to adjust the fence and the depth, and then we can start cutting the rails. Now I know it's not a lot, it's previously set at 6mm and this is 6.5, but it will show, so I'm just going to move the fence ever so slightly. Right, that's that. Now then, just need to mark the depth. So 20mm. Which is just there. So that needs to go down slightly. Which is just there. That's got that. So, all of the rails and stiles are marked already. And what I'm going to do is just move this bracket down. There we go. That's better. So that won't lift out so much now. So that's all of the stiles done, and those have gone very, very well. All I've got to do now are the 8 rails for the carcasses, and there's only one mortise in each of those, so that's going to be quite a quick job. And this is a problem that I get occasionally. The shavings get trapped in the chisel. So what can I use to get that out? Little screwdriver. So this is the worst block I've had. So loosen the chisel. Yeah, that is good, fit, stuck good and proper. So and you might see here there's a lot of chippings in the spiral. There we are. That's free now. Let's reattach it and then realign everything. Yes, that still goes in the same hole, so let's carry on. That does not feel right. That, no. The handle has gone awry. So that means it's not coming down. So let me investigate. Right, that's the end of the cutting of the mortises at the moment, because the handle, there's nothing wrong with the handle, and that fits in there, and yeah, that's fine. The problem is here, because if I see if I can move this back so you can see the other side, there is a cotter pin, and that has sheared off, so this just is not gripping. So somehow I've got to get the old cotter pin out and find something else that will go inside. So that's not going to happen this afternoon. So that's a blow, because I've I'm in the middle of one, and I've got 4 more to go. So okay, that's, as I say, that's as far as I'm going to be able to get this afternoon until I sort something else out. So we'll come back to that at a later time. So thanks for coming along with me this afternoon. We've got most of it done. Just a pity that we've come to a grinding halt, but welcome to all of the new members to the channel, and I'll see you next time.